Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Sodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Ballabha Girivardhari Sodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachari Yamuna Tira Banachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki jai. Rantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jai Shri Gauranga, Jai Shri Radha Govardhana. Krishna Balaram Jaya Giri Govardhana ki jai. Vrinda Devi Tulsi Devi Maharani ki. All glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to the assembled devotees, all glory to Shri Shri Guru and Gauranga Gaur. Hari Hari Hari. Hare Krishna. Good morning, everybody. I've forgotten my glasses, so I have to read from my phone. I'll just read it from the phone, I think. We're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 3rd Canto, chapter 19, verse 28. This is the killing of the demon Hiranyaksha. And I think who's speaking? I think Lord Brahma is speaking it. Lord Brahma is speaking. So, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Thank you. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritam Narocharam Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudhirayat Nastapadesho Vadesho Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Tammartamashloke Bhakti Bhavati Noishtuki. So this is verse 28. Jam Yogino Yoga Samadhina Raho Jayanti Lingada Sato Mumukshayam Tashesha Daitya Rishabha Padahato Mukam Papasyam Stanum Utsarajaham Jam Yogino Yoga Samadhina Raho Jayanti Lingada Sato Mumukshaya Tashesha Daitya Rishabha Padahato Mukam Papasham Stanum Utsarajaham Yam Yogino Yoga Samadhina Raho Dayanti Lingada Sato Mumukshaya Tashesha Daitya Rishabha Padahato Mukam Papasyan Stanu Utsasaja. Somebody else, please. Jam Yogino Yoga Samadhina Raho Sheshadaita Rishabha Padahato Mukam papasyam tanu sasaja. Yogino yoga samadhina raho. Jayanti lingala sato mukshaya. Sheshadaitya rishabhapadato. Mukam pasasham tanusara. Vaishnavis, please. Jamrogino yoga samadhina raho. Ayanti linga sato mukshaya. Sheshadaitya rishabhapadato. Mukam pasasam tanusaraja. Jamrogino yoga samadhinayo. Yanti lingada sato mukshaya. Sheshadaitya rishabhapadato. Mukam papasham tanusaraja. Word for word. Yam, whom, yoginaha, the yogis, yoga samadhina, in mystic trance, raha, in seclusion, dhyayanti, meditate upon, lingat, from the body, asaptaha, unreal, mukshaya, seeking freedom, tasya, of him, eshaha, this, daitya, son of Diti, Rishabha, the crest jewel, pada, by a foot, ahataha, struck, mukam, countenance, prapasyan, while gazing on, tanum, the body, utsarja, he cast off, indeed. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Translation, Brahma continued. He was, this is the fighting's going on still. He was struck by a forefoot of the Lord, whom yogis seeking freedom from the unreal material bodies meditate upon in seclusion in mystic trance. While gazing on his countenance, his crest jewel, Aditi's son, has cast off his mortal coil. Repeat after me. Brahma continued. He was struck by a forefoot of the Lord, whom yogis, seeking freedom from their unreal material bodies, meditate upon in seclusion, in mystic trance, while gazing on his countenance, this crest jewel, Aditi's sons, has cast off his mortal coil. Purport. The process of yoga is very clearly described in this verse of Srimad Bhagavatam. It is said here that the ultimate end of all the yogis and mystics who perform meditation is to get rid of this material body. Therefore, they meditate in secluded places to attain yogic trance. Yoga has to be performed in a secluded place, not in a public or in a demonstration on stage, as nowadays practiced by many so-called yogis. Real yoga aims at ridding one of the material body. Yoga practice is not intended to keep the body fit and young. Such advertisements of so-called yoga are not approved by any standard method. Particularly mentioned in this verse is the word yam, or unto whom, indicating that meditation should be targeted onto the personality of Godhead. Even if one concentrates his mind on the ball form of the Lord, that is also yoga. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita, one who concentrates his mind constantly in meditation upon the personality of Godhead in one of his many varieties of forms is the first-class yogi, and he can very easily attain trance simply by meditating upon the form of the Lord. If one is able to continue such meditation on the Lord's form at the time of death, one is liberated from this mortal body and is transferred to the kingdom of God. This opportunity was given to the demon by the Lord. Therefore Brahma and other demigods were astonished. In other words, the perfection of yoga can be attained by a demon also if he is simply kicked by the Lord. Translation again. Brahma continued, he was struck by a forefront of the Lord, by a forefoot of the Lord, whom yogis, seeking freedom from their unreal material bodies, meditate upon in seclusion in mystic trance. While gazing on his countenance, this Krestul Aditi's sons has cast off his mortal coil. Om Gana Timirandasha Ganam Gasarakaya Sakshus Om Militam Jana Tasmaye Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishnam Stapitam Swarupam Kadamayam Darat Swapantikam Panchakapatru Vishaki Pasindu Bevicha Paritanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha. Thank you. Any senior Vaishnavas, so I beg for your kind blessings so I can be a faithful parrot. That's all we try and do in these classes, trying to repeat what we've heard from Srila Prabhupada and superior Vaishnavas. So this is the exciting, the pinnacle of the Leela. Lord Ra has been roaming the universe and creating chaos, and now the Lord's finally caught up to him and polished him off in great enjoyment. The Lord has brought his devotees down especially for this purpose, to enjoy a good old fight. There's so many intricacies to these pastimes, but ultimately Krishna is having a good time, is enjoying. And so I think it was mentioned a couple of verses ago, he gave him a good slap in the side of the ear and took him out. He's mentioned the forefoot, I guess it's the same thing, right? For a ball. A special ball, because he can actually hold a club as well. So Srila Prabhupada in this purport is condemning the bogus materialistic forms of yoga, as we see very common these days. It says here that yoga is meant to free one from the bodily concept and ultimately to give up the body. And we see in these modern concocted, not all, but mostly, you see it's promoted as a form of make you feel good sort of exercise, a good old stretch, sort of close your eyes and meditate on, I'm not sure what people meditate on. Must be hard to meditate on something but Krishna, but I guess they meditate sometimes I think on a flame or something, or tip of your nose is another one to meditate on. It's quite boring to do. So, yeah, and people pay money, they come and do it for 15, 20 minutes. There's also fashion statements are made in yoga halls these days. It's a dress up. You see who looks the greatest in their yoga outfits. So it's basically totally the opposite of what's been mentioned here in the Bhagavatam. And Prabhupada mentions here, and also it's mentioned at least a couple of times by Krishna in the 6th chapter of the Gita, yoga is practiced in a secluded place. It's not a public show where you go and do your... and it's also a progressive process, yoga. We use the term the yoga ladder. And it's not that you just get on the first step and hang out on the first step forever. No, you've got to actually move on. It's a progressive process. The wonderful thing about the new Govardhana here is we have our yoga classes, but we get people onto the ladder, but actually we as soon as we can get them into the lift. And we get them chanting Hare Krishna and taking prasadam, so they become very elevated very quickly, unknowingly. So this process of yoga is not recommended at this age. We know that when Krishna described it to Arjuna in the 6th chapter, that pretty much Arjuna rejected it. It's too difficult in this age to control the mind in such a way. And actually yoga is very much about controlling the mind. And I don't know if that, and if you're only doing a bunch of stretches 20 minutes a day, I don't know how that's going to help you control your mind ultimately. So the process of bhakti is, specifically in this age, through the process of Harinam, Sankirtan, chanting the holy name, is highly recommended because it's the most potent process for this age. And throughout the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is recommending that we do this bhakti, this engaging in devotional service, and this way your yoga practice continues on. It's not interrupted. It's not like you drive in your car, go to the local gym, got your gear on, you do all your exercises and stretches and sit down and close your eyes and meditate for 5 minutes and go home. No, Krishna consciousness is from the time we wake up at the time we go to bed and while we sleep, because if you're engaged in devotional service while you sleep is also devotional service, because you're resting this sack that can't go all day long and can't go 24 hours, so it needs a break. Srila Prabhupada said Krishna could have made us so we didn't have to sleep, you know that? Could have made us so we didn't have to sleep, and he made us so we could sleep so we can get a break. Need a bit of a break from the long day. Most of us, we look forward to that end of the day when hit the pillow. It's like, but then again it starts again. Very interesting. But the sleeping business is, if it's engaged in the Lord's service, is also devotional service, because you're engaging in this vehicle, this machine, Krishna consciousness throughout the day. You're resting it so you can serve again. So in this way, this Bhakti Yoga is a continuous process of devotional service. So we're very, very fortunate that we haven't been cheated. We're not off doing 20 minutes of exercises a day. Instead, we're following a process that Srila Prabhupada has given us, which is totally authorised and bona fide. Srila Prabhupada came to give, not to take. He's not collecting from us. He's actually just continuously giving us more than we can actually take. So we're very, very fortunate. Today also is, I should mention, Deepavali, correct? Diwali, Deepavali. It's got a few different, it all means the same thing. It's a very glorious day, and it's especially in India celebrated. Prabhupada mentions in his purport, especially in Bombay, lots of lights and pomp and fireworks. This is the great celebration. This is when Lord Ram and his entourage are finally going to return to Ayodhya after conquering Lanka, rescuing Sita, killing Ravana and his demoniac followers. And Lord Ram sends Hanuman ahead, I think 1 day ahead, isn't it? To let everybody know Ayodhya that they're coming back. And then there's great festivities are there. And then I think a few days in, this festival goes on, and there's the whole of Ayodhya is lit up with beautiful lamps and candles everywhere. And it's great. And in India, in the Hindu society, it's celebrated. It's a time to bring people together and forget the bad times and appreciate the good times. And this way people, Prabhupada also mentioned we should light many candles and cook some nice offerings and like that, and celebrate in this way. So this is Diwali, Deepavali. It's especially significant for the followers of Lord Krishna, isn't it? Can you tell us why, Lucas? That's one good question, one good answer. Any other reason why especially special to us today? Today, he said because Lord Ram and Lord Krishna are non-different. Right, so we can bring Krishna back to home into your heart. One last chance. The victory over good, over evil. I'll give you my take on it, if it's for what it's worth. Today is actually the day that Lord Damodar was tied up. It was on this day, Devapali. As Prabhupada mentions in his purport, And he quotes Srila Sanatana Goswami as a reference in one of his writings. Yes, so this is why the Mother Yasoda's house was so busy that day. They were preparing for this festival. And a lot of Mother Yasoda's maidservants were also very busy. So Mother Yasoda she was multitasking. This is why she had to let go Krishna to tend to the milk. There was a lot going on. So this was on this day. So today is actually the official anniversary of the Dhammarastikam. It's just today. So it's a nice day to meditate. So today is the day that all those robes came out. So it's a very, 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 very wonderful pastime. It's very deep, and our acharyas are always unrolling further and further meetings, and because transcendental sound vibration has unlimited reverberation. You can never get to it's not like you read Krishna's pastimes and that's it, put the book down and find something else. No, it gets deeper and deeper, more and more wonderful, never dry. It's confirmed. But yes, the Mother Yasoda was churning. Described as churning is also the original source of Sankirtan or Kirtan. You know that? You heard that before? You've heard? Yes, she's got a bang on. And as the butter is thickening, boom, 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 boom. And she's also singing, Prabhupada mentioned, she's constantly making up songs of Krishna's pastimes to remember Krishna. So she's absorbed in singing about Krishna, boom, boom, boom. This is the original kirtan from the spiritual world. So this is the ultimate kirtaniya. Actually, Srila Sanatana Goswami mentions Srimati Radharani is the greatest Sankirtan devotee also. She's also always chanting when she's doing the chores and other things. So Mother Yasoda is absorbed, chanting the button, and what happens when you chant? You have kirtan, you attract Krishna. Krishna comes. So Krishna came and he wanted some milk. And it's described, he grabbed the rod, the turning, I think they have a churning rod with a rope, and they pull the rope like this. That's how they churn. So he grabs the rope, grabs Mother Yasoda's attention, and she puts him on his lap and starts giving him this very sweet, loving milk, which is saturated with prem. In the meantime, she notices the milk is boiling, and our acharyas tell us there's a bit more to this milk boiling than meets the eye. Because you can remember in the spiritual world, there's no dead matter. Everything is totally spiritual. That's a very important point to understand. Matter only exists in the material world. That's where you have matter. Spiritual world, it's all Satchidananda Vigraha. Everything is fully conscious, fully spiritual, fully Krishna conscious. So this milk that is described, it's thinking, if Mother Yasoda feeds Krishna, then he's not going to drink me. I might as well boil over and commit suicide. You know? He's talking to the fire below, so I'm going to just jump into you. So this is fully conscious. The milk is fully conscious. It's going to be turned into milk sweet and other things. So it's spiritual competition. So Mother Yasoda tends to that. Krishna gets upset because he's been neglected. But it's described she did the right thing. She's attending to another devotee, the milk. That needs attention also. Some Prabhupada mentions in those purports, sometimes a devotee has to decide what to do first, what to do second. That's as Krishna gives you direction from within the heart, because sometimes we have many things we need to do. We don't know where to start. So then Krishna gets transcendently upset. As described, he gets a bit of stone, and he's very clever. He held his bangles while he was breaking it, so they wouldn't make any extra noise, so he wouldn't get caught. And then he took off. And Mother Yasoda comes back, she sees the broken pot, she knows exactly who did it. Not only that, he's left evidence. Because it's semi-churned butter, it's still a bit quite wet, and it's all over the floor, and there's these beautiful little footprints. And now Krishna's around 3, so all these markings in his feet are starting to manifest more, so all these beautiful markings are there. And she follows him in, and he's in there eating this butter and feeding the monkeys, and the description of how he's looking around in anxiety of being caught is very, very beautiful. sort of, I guess you can't imagine it, but the sound vibration is very wonderful. And Mother Yasoda has a stick, and sometimes it's described that we think that she's coming after him with a stick, but actually the stick was for the monkeys, and also crows were there as well. And so Krishna was very surprised that she had a stick. He thought it was for him, so he took off. And Mother Yasoda ran after him very swiftly. And it's interesting, in Goloka, in the spiritual realm, in the Dham, also, like I say, everything is conscious. Even Goloka is conscious. The planet Goloka is a topmost devotee manifested, and it has these petals. We often hear those petals open and close. And when Krishna needs to move around Vrindavan, these petals can close. You can step over and then open back up, and you're further away. That's how you get around. It's a quick way to get around if you've got a Goloka Vrindavan planet. So normally when the gopis chase after Krishna, because he mucks up a bit and steals, and they chase after him, generally they can't catch him. Even though they can run quicker than him, they can't catch him, because as he runs, the petals close up, and as the gopis come, the petals open up again. So they can never quite catch up to him. It's a transcendental arrangement. But it's explained that Goloka Vrindavan has so much respect and awe for Mother Yasoda that she won't do that for Mother Yasoda. So Mother Yasoda is able to catch him. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to catch him. And then as we know, she attempts to tie him up. And this is another wonderful thing, because Krishna, in many of his pastimes, he's able to bring many devotees together, like my Lord Brahma, or be with all these devotees at the same time. And Lord Brahma stole the calves and cowherd boys, and Krishna expanded. And we know for 1 year, all the residents of Vrindavan, all the cows, had Krishna as their son. That's so nice, isn't it? Krishna reciprocates in this way with all these devotees. For 1 whole year, Krishna's at home with you every single day. Well, not every day, he goes out with his friends, but because he's going out with himself for a year. and his cows. This is very interesting. He's Atmarama. And then Govardhana Lila also, which we're celebrating tomorrow, same thing. Through this wonderful pastime, he's able to bring all the residents of Vrindavan for 7 days and 7 nights. They're all together with Krishna. Cowboys, the elderly gopis, Nanda Maharaj, the gopas, the cows, they're all there constantly with Krishna. So, and in this pastime, because of the transcendental Krishna, it's not possible to tie up Krishna. It's not possible to get, because everything is within him. It's not physical, it's not scientifically possible to tie Krishna up. But anyhow, by the deep love and extreme endeavour, and because Mother Yasoda is trying so she's sweating. The hairs come undone, and when she's chasing him, it's described that all the flowers are falling out there, and that's also described by the acharyas. The flowers are thinking, what am I doing on her head? She's chasing the Supreme Lord, I should be down on the ground. And they're all jumping off. They're all fully conscious. They're not. It's not no dead matter. Even the dust. And Krishna and Balaram, the cowboys, are coming back in the late afternoon, and all the dust it's a dust. They're all trying to jump on, because if you can jump on and cling on to Krishna's cloth, then you go back to his house. So if you become a dust particle in Goloka, just start practicing your grip. You want to cling on. If you press start now, you might be able to hang on when you get there. So yes, everything is Krishna conscious and fully aware of Krishna, fully absorbed in Krishna Prem, even the dust particles. So these ropes as described, I think you've heard those lectures I gave you. I still listen to those. It's a very nice series that was given to Mayapur about in 2015, 6-part series on the Damodar Leela. Very, very nice meditation. Anyway, so they describe these ropes. They're also Krishna conscious, and they're all connected. When Krishna touches a rope in the milking barn and unties a calf, all the other ropes in Mother Yasoda's house all They know they get a tingle. Krishna's touching one of our cousins. So fully conscious, very nice. So anyways, I think it's so. This pastime also is Krishna's kindness amongst the devotee ropes, because he's allowed them all to come together and tie him up. So that's an opportunity for all those devotees. They're all able to serve Krishna in this way. And when ultimately Krishna is pleased by Mother Yasoda's endeavour, and by his mercy he allows her to tie the final knot. You can't imagine this pastime because it's unlimited rope. And you've only got to go around technically 2 feet. So how can unlimited rope not fit around 2 feet? So you can't fit that into your imagination. Krishna consciousness is beyond our imagination. You can't fit it in. And you'll short circuit something in your brain. It's beyond. Krishna's unlimited means beyond limit. So, and our faculty, our brain and mind, they're limited. So it's not possible. So we should never try and understand Krishna with our limited mind. We should just accept the words of the Shastra and the liberated acharyas and accept it with faith. And that way you'll be able to appreciate those pastimes. And ultimately, Krishna says in the Gita, if we understand and appreciate these transcendental pastimes, then we won't take birth here again. Prabhupada quoted that verse a lot. I think it's his second or third most quoted verse. You can almost hang your hat on it. It refers to it so much. You just simply understand Krishna. See, this process of yoga and gyan, you have to do over many, many lifetimes. It's not, Krishna consciousness is very rapid. And even though it seems impossible, but because it's not just our endeavour is just, we're just showing Krishna that we're trying, but it's really Krishna's mercy ultimately. The example is given of you're in a well and a rope thrown down, and you're going to get pulled out by the spiritual master, but you've still got to hang on to the rope, but you're getting pulled out. So this is our process. It's both our endeavour and ultimately the mercy of the Lord. So, I wanted to mention, because we haven't spoken much about Damodar Leela, even though it's the month of Damodar. Some temples, they just speak on this pastime for a month. We did it a few years ago here. We spoke from the 9th and 10th chapter, the 10th canto, every day. It was quite nice. I'm going to quickly, I want to read one verse, which is really nice, which brings all this together. This is from the 11th canto. I've always liked this verse because Krishna's a person, and this is Krishna right at the end of his pastimes. He's winding up his pastime. He's about to move on, so to speak. And he thinks to himself. This is 11th canto, chapter 1, it's verse 5 and 6, I think it is. So we get to hear Krishna. Just bear with me for a moment. There it is. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is the reservoir of all beauty. All beautiful things emanate from him, and his personal form is so attractive that it steals the eyes away from all other objects, which then seem devoid of beauty in comparison to him. When Lord Krishna was on the earth, he attracted the eyes of all people. When Krishna spoke, his words were attracted the minds of all who remembered them. By seeing the footsteps of Lord Krishna, people became attracted to him, and thus they wanted to offer their bodily activities to the Lord as his followers. In this way, Krishna very easily spread his glories, which are sung throughout the world by the most sublime and essential Vedic verses. This is the point I want to... Lord Krishna considered that simply by hearing and chanting those glories, conditioned souls born in the future would cross beyond the darkness of ignorance. Being satisfied with this arrangement, he left for his desired destination. So this is more or less Krishna's one of his final meditations. He's thinking of the conditioned soul, thinking, I think I've performed enough wonderful pastimes that in the future, which is us, we get to hear it, we'll be able to benefit greatly. And in this purport, if I can quickly, I'll just finish up on this point. Srila Jiva Goswami is quoted here. It's a very nice little quote. Please bear with me, I'm going to find it. Srila Jiva, here we go. Srila Jiva Goswami has pointed out that the words Tamo Naya Tarishanti indicate that although Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, one who hears and chants about the activities, form and words of the Lord will get exactly the same benefit as those who personally experience these things as contemporaries of Lord Krishna. That? Want to hear that again? Okay. This is always stuck in my mind when I've read this. Srila Jiva Goswami has pointed out that the words Tamo Naya Tarishani indicate that although Lord Krishna appeared 5,000 years ago, it's a long time, one who hears and chants about the activities, form and words of the Lord will get exactly the same benefit as those who personally experience these things as contemporaries of Lord Krishna. In other words, he will also cross over the darkness of material existence and achieve the Lord's abode. So the significance of hearing daily Krishna's pastime, we can't be measured. Our fortune is, in a sense, we don't have to worry about our fate. We should really be concentrating on trying to become good devotees, because if we're heading back home somehow at some point, what you have to think, what are you going to do there? You want to serve in pure devotional service. So why wait? Because people say, I just want to go home and get out of it. But what are you going to do when you get there? You're going to engage in pure devotional service. So the process Srila Prabhupada has given us is the practice of pure devotional service. So we're in training. So that's what we want. We want to keep training so we can be fit enough to enter the realm by the grace of the spiritual master. I should stop now and love to hear from our seniors about any of these topics. Someone get Mother Ambika.
Thank you, that was a beautiful class. I just wanted to say that yesterday, the verse that we were reading in the 4th canto, it talks about when the heart becomes cleansed, the devotee's mind becomes broader and transparent. And we were just sort of, when we were doing our Bhagavatam verse, we were discussing how we do have, you were saying that we've got these, conditioned minds, and it's kind of impossible to imagine these scenarios, transcendental scenarios. But then it's describing here that once that it's finished, the material modes, then the mind broadens, and then we can be able to understand those things.
Yes. It's also described that the process of bhakti dissolves the subtle body also.
Yeah.
So then the gross, the subtle material body gets removed, and you end up with the pure spiritual mind. Thank you. Somebody else, a couple of minutes. Hang on.
In the verse, Prabhupada mentions the yogis seeking freedom from their unreal material bodies. I thought it was an interesting word. Maybe you could expand on that a little bit.
Yeah, I think Prabhupada does expand. That's it. Yes. The unreal temporary material body, they're trying to get out of the bodily concept of life, is what they're trying to do. And that's why it's the point of saying a lot of these modern yoga practices put you in the bodily concept of life.
I thought that word unreal, like it seems real, it casts a shadow, but actually it's not, is it?
It's unreal in relation to the eternal soul, yeah. It's just a temporary. It's like saying this shirt's not really me, It's just that I'm wearing today, and tomorrow I won't be wearing it. I hope I won't be wearing it. I won't be wearing it tomorrow. No. Clean cloth. So yes. So they have some realization that this body is just a temporary vehicle, but they're more interested in their own salvation. These yogis, in the process that Srila Prabhupada has given us, we welcome these bodies and utilize them in Krishna service. I think the example is given in the Bhagavatam, using a thorn to remove a thorn. We use these sinful material bodies that we sort of inherited from our millions of lifetimes, and they're the very same bodies that have kept us here, and we utilise them in devotional service to get us out of this material world. So these very same bodies. So they're these yogis that are mentioned here, they're fairly realised. They understand they're not the body. That's easily said than done, but that's what we have to understand. We're not the body. And the process we're following will very easily help us to understand we're not the body, because we become so attracted to Krishna, his pastimes, that we lose interest in these bodily things. They just become irrelevant. It just becomes some flopping thing that you carry around. Sometimes I give I've given this example before, but it's like going to a kid's birthday party, and they ask you to bring your old lazy dog, and it's a rainy, windy day, and they also ask you to bring the balloons. So you're walking along, you've got this wet, lazy dog that doesn't want to go. You've got these balloons blown everywhere, and So this is similar to us. We've got our material body. This is a wet, lazy dog, and we've got our minds and the soul. So it's quite glorious doing service with the dog and the balloons. So everywhere we go, we've got to take our mind and bodies with us. So in the spiritual world, you don't have the balloons or the dog, So have the pure soul. So hopefully it'll be a bit easier. Prabhu.
How do we know if we're ready to go back to Godhead?
How do we know if we're ready to go back to Godhead? What a great question. Well, I should ask you, are you ready to go back to Godhead?
Probably not.
What was that story of that devotee? What was his name? Tukaram? Was it Tukaram? That when the Vaikuntha airplane came? Because he promised, was it him? Yeah, he promised that a lot of his friends, he would take him back home as well, Yeah, and it went, so eventually it was time for him to go back home. The Vaikuntha airplane came, and he called them all, and one of them said, "Oh, I can't quite go now, I've got a good harvest on, I just want to wait for the harvest." Another one said, "I've still got to marry one of my daughters off," One after another, they just had a reason to stay behind. So if you've got reasons to stay behind, then you're not ready. So we've got to give up our attachment to this world and become fully attached to Krishna. And then you're automatically ready, because there's nothing else that you're interested in. But that's a process that we're following. We're trying to purify all these impurities in our hearts, so that Krishna, because Krishna relates to us on this level also of pure devotional service. So if we don't come to that level, we won't be able to enter the spiritual world. So we have to prepare. But the hearing's the key. We have to stop now. Anybody else quickly? No, done. Thank you very, very much for your time and staying awake. Thank you. Hare Krishna, all glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Srimad Bhagavatam, Dhammadam Astakam Ki Jai. Is it Tukaram? You don't hear that very often, that story. Yeah, I saw the movie years ago. Hindu movie, yeah.